Hello, hello, hello. It is me, your True Hill Phenom SP3, and we are back again with one of our year end videos. This time, for the first time, we are tier lists for the entire New Japan Pro Wrestling roster for the year of 2025. And of course, to do that, I am joined by my esteemed colleague. He is the man who is the MC of the past, present, and future of New Japan Pro Wrestling here on the True Heel Heat YouTube channel. It is your boy, J-News. And yes, J-News, he was nervous, but he is here because we are going to tier rank every member of the New Japan roster. Are you ready, J-News?
I mean, as ready as I'll ever be. I've never done one of these tier lists before, so this might be, slightly controversial. Maybe not. Who knows? But we're here to do it. We're here to kick it off.
Well, we're going to show the people the tier list. We're going to explain to them how the tier list works, and then we're going to explain each and every member of the New Japan's rosters 2025. But of course, this is going to be our opinion where we rank these people. We want to know from you what you think. So, of course, we appreciate y'all if you're joining us for the premiere of this video. If you're watching on demand, either way, we appreciate y'all. Show their appreciation back the simplest way possible. Drop the thumbs up on this video. Share this video with all your wrestling fans, friends, and family on all your favorite social media platforms. If you are new to the True Hill Heat YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell to stay notified for all the great content here. And of course, you can sound off in the live chat if you're watching on the premiere. Most of all, you could comment down below. Let us know what you think. Who had the best year from New Japan Pro Wrestling? Who is the top of the top from the New Japan Pro Wrestling roster? Let us know in the comments down below. And if you think we got something wrong, we ranked someone where they didn't need to be, they need to be higher or lower, let us know in the comments down below as well. But yes, I've done this tier list several times for AEW 2023, 2024, 2025. It's going to be that I believe is dropping either before or after this one. It's dropping on Christmas Day. This is going to be dropping after that one. So you've already seen that tier list. We're going to do one for WWE, which is a big one with their large roster. But New Japan Pro Wrestling, this is the first time we're doing it for this roster. And let's see the tier list here. We got it over here on the side. And let's go through the tiers with the people here. We got our S tier, our top of the top. If you saw the AEW tier list, you know that is keep at all costs. But for here in New Japan Pro Wrestling, we call it the Tokyo Dome Headliners. These are the people that had the very best years from New Japan Pro Wrestling in 2025. Then we have our Lion Mark Pride, which is usually main event if we're doing a WWE or AEW tier list, but we wanted to make this more akin to New Japan Pro Wrestling. So we got Lion Mark Pride, and then everything else is usually what you would see on one of our tier lists. We have our All-Stars. So these are people that had good but not quite great years in 2025. We got our mid-card, which is people who just played their role. They were here. They're kind of in the mid-card, in the mix, but not quite of the toppy top, not a good to great year in 2025. Then we have deserves better. These are the people on the roster that deserves better. And maybe these are people that should have been used more by New Japan Pro Wrestling in 2025. Mid is about that. Mid. They had a mid-ass year. A year that we would forget if we didn't mention their name here on this list. Then we have niggas always hurt or not here. So these are the people that were not a part of the New Japan roster for a number of different reasons, either always hurt or just not here in general. And then we have contract not renewed. And these are the people that had, in our opinion, the worst 2025 of them all. Do you understand, J-News, and are you ready?
I mean, I understand, but we got to get to it, brother. I wasn't out here ready for this, and this is new to me. I've never done one of these before, and like I said, this might be a little controversial. But as SP3 also said, these are our individual lists. These are our individual rankings. These are our opinions. We are speaking only for ourselves here and not for anyone else. So if you disagree, comment down below, make your own list, break it on down if you have that much experience with New Japan Pro Wrestling in the year 2025. And yeah, let's start off with whoever's first on the roster.
We got up here first Alex Zane, who was recently a part of the World Tag League with his tag team partner Lance Archer of Monster Sauce, where they had a pretty good showing and they just make like for a very fun team. Other than that, though, 2025 did not feature a whole lot of Mr. Zane, Mr. The Sauce, a part of New Japan Pro Wrestling. They kind of have positioned him over to the heavyweight scene with his partnership with Lance Archer. So, of course, he was used at the tail end of the year for World Tag League, but he's no longer in the junior heavyweight division where we've seen him before in the Best of Super Juniors. So he wasn't used in this year's tournament. He wasn't really used on a lot of the house shows. New Japan cut down dramatically on United States shows in 2025. So pretty much we have the World Tag League to go by for Mr. Zane here. So where do you think he belongs? Should he be not here, or do you think he deserved better in 2025?
I feel like he deserved better. Yet again, this is my personal opinion. I'm a big fan of the Sauce. Alex Zane over here in the States. Get to see him plenty because he's always on the indies and stuff like that. He's made a couple of appearances on ROH TV and stuff like that. You get to see him in GCW. You get to see him in Revolver and things of that nature. So we get to see him plenty here in the indies. But from a New Japan standpoint, being that they do have him as a part of their roster, because he is a part, I think, of New Japan USA, barely used there, he deserved better. That's my take on the Sauce.
And I think we got another one who deserves better because we have Bad Dude Tito next, J-News. And that Bad Dude Tito was a mainstay, a part of the New Japan Pro Wrestling Strong shows in the United States, especially when NJPW Strong was his own brand of New Japan in the early 2020s. But since this transition to just being called New Japan Strong for the US shows, and the fact that we haven't had a US show since Windy City Riot, in April, we have not seen much of Bad Dude Tito throughout 2025. So I think this is easy, deserves better, because he's a dude that when he comes over to Japan, the fans seem to love him. They love the big man. They love the big man that can move fast and are quite agile. And that's Bad Dude Tito to a T. And the fact that TMDK has been such a big part of New Japan in Japan, I would just shift him over. Like, if you're not going to do a lot of US shows, then have him come over and be a part of TMDK. Have him team up with Hartley Jackson. You could have saved money on getting one of these legends for World Tag League and just give us Hartley and Bad Dude Tito in the opposite block from Roy and ZSJ. So I think he's an easy, deserves better. What do you think?
You know, it's interesting. That Bad Dude Tito, man, Tito Escondido from the West Coast. He's a cool dude, man. He does a lot of that shoot style type stuff. He does the blood sport stuff with Josh Barnett. We all know Josh Barnett on his here in the US specifically. He's also a coach over at the New Japan Academy and stuff like that. So at the end of the day, it baffles me as to why Tito is not be used more in the Japan shows, and he wasn't even used that much earlier this year when they were doing the US shows. So I thought that, you know, and no disrespect, Tito. At the end of the day, love you, brother. I wish they used you more. But it was more of a not here for me for Tito this year. I would put him in the, you know, he's not hurt. Tito wasn't hurt, but he wasn't there at the end of the day for the majority of the year. So that's where he ends up.
But you're saying he doesn't deserve better? How does
he does?
He does. But he doesn't deserve better.
He does deserve better. He does deserve better. But I because I see the Sauce so much. At the end of the day, you know what? We'll go where he deserves better because Tito does deserve better. At the end of the day, so I'll land there with Tito.
I think this is going to be like the section for NJPW Strong signed talent. It seems like. Then we have someone who is not going to be in deserves better because they got a lot throughout 2025, and that is Callum Newman. Callum Newman, of course, came into 2025 in a weird state with the United Empire and where the United Empire was going to go. United Empire has really been trying to kind of find their identity over the last year since Will Ospreay left New Japan Pro Wrestling. We've had different people in the group that's kind of taken leadership roles, whether it be TJP immediately following the exit of Will Ospreay, whether it was Jeff Cobb earlier this year where he looked like he was stepping up for the group, or the Great Okan being the spokesperson and now the strategist for United Empire. In a lot of ways, by the time we get to the end of 2025, Callum Newman is the guy who stepped up and has become the top star, if not the leader of United Empire. And a lot of that comes down to the different changes that happened between United Empire this year. Jeff Cobb, of course, started off the year as part of the group. They were involved in the IWGP Tag Team Championship picture with kind of Callum as the kind of a sidelinger to that. He was a part of the Rambo at Wrestle Kingdom this year. But really, like the spring where Jeff Cobb leaves New Japan and abruptly leaves an IWGP World Heavyweight Championship on the board, it leads to Callum Newman being the one who steps up, and has one of the best matches of his entire career against Hirooki Goto at Duntaku, really having that breakout performance that everybody really was looking for him. And since then, he's really stepped up. He had a good showing in the G1 Climax, but during that run and then during the fall and into the winter, we've seen a character change of Callum Newman, where he has more embraced his comparisons to a fellow prince named Devitt from years past, and showing this aggressive kind of cocky attitude. And that has all come to fruition in the World Tag League, where we have seen the kind of like the slow burn finally get lit, where we have had an official heel turn for Callum Newman and the United Empire, where Great Okan is the strategist, but really the assassin of the group, the new assassin, is the guy who was basically trained by the aerial assassin in Callum Newman. I think Callum Newman had probably a upgrade from wherever you would put him in 2024. He's definitely higher on the tier list coming out of 2025. Where do you think we place him?
I mean, let's scroll up towards the other part of the tier here, see as to where he goes. He's definitely not near the bottom. If I'm gonna give him a spot because of how he's been standing out in recent times and this slow evolution throughout the year, can't forget his feud with Naito before Naito left New Japan. That put him on the map. Naito was definitely trying to get him over.
Him and Okan defeating Naito and Hiromu for the IWGP Tag Team Championships. He was two-time IWGP Tag Team Champion in this year alone.
Absolutely, man. So, can't forget that. I would say I'd put him in All-Star just because he's definitely stepped up.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, he's definitely stepped up, and he's now the newfound leader of the United Empire, no matter what people might want to think and or say differently out there in the wrestling world. But Callum Newman, the new prince of New Japan Pro Wrestling, is an all-star in my estimation.
I agree with that. Definitely, he deserves all-star status for sure. Someone who does not, Chase Owens. Chase Owens was a part of the New Japan Cup where he lost in the first round. He was an outlier, basically kind of a part of the War Dogs, until he decided to turn on the War Dogs and join forces with the House of Torture during the rivalry between the War Dogs and House of Torture. He would also be joined by Bad Luck Fale, who is now Don Fale in House of Torture, and he teamed up with Yujiro Takahashi in World Tag League. That's as mid of a year as possible. Any thoughts?
Yeah, I guess we gotta give. Yeah, no objections. He's mid because he plays this role at the end of the day. So, because you mentioned that as a part of the definition of mid as well. So, mid is mediocre for those folks who don't understand. He was just there. So, yes, Chase Owens is mid.
He's definitely part of the roster. I'll give him that.
There you go.
He is part of the roster.
Absolutely.
I did see him. I did witness he was present. He was present at school, but he didn't do a lot of schoolwork.
There you go.
That's kind of the house of torture in general. We got someone else who was part of a faction at one time with Chase Owens. We got Clark Connors here, who had a very good start to the year, I thought. He was a part of the War Dogs throughout the year. Of course, him and Drilla Maloney were a part of the Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Championship ladder match at Wrestle Kingdom early in January. From there, he kind of took on kind of a singles role as Drilla Maloney decided to move up to the heavyweight scene. Clark Connors decided to go out on his own. He added new kind of tricks or to his gimmick and character. Wheel-san became very popular in the Japan shows, especially during the Best of Super Juniors, which I thought that Clark had a very good one with notable matches against the likes of Hiromu Takahashi and Takeshita along the way. Great showing there. And then he also had that tremendous matchup against El Desperado for the Junior Heavyweight Championship. Very memorable, hardcore matchup that Despy just got by Clark Connors, and a lot of people believed Clark Connors was going to win that one going in. Clark Connors also made a couple appearances on AEW this year. He cut a vignette with AEW that made it seem like he was going to have a short run over there, but that never came to fruition. He was back in New Japan, of course, a part of the War Dogs rivalries with House of Torture in the summertime, getting the win in the lights and the Dog Pound Steel Cage matchup. The latter half of the year hasn't seen that much activity for him. He was a part of the Super Junior Tag League where he was teamed up with Dake Nagai, which made for a fun dynamic with him and the Young Lion, and the Young Lion failing him at every turn. But I thought the latter half of the year is kind of like a deserved better half of the year, whereas the first half of the year is kind of like mid-card all-star type of year. So he's a strange one. Where do you think he places?
I initially when he came up here, like my first thought was deserved better, because for whatever reason, I feel like Clark Connors has a certain it factor to me that if he were used more, if he were used the right way, if he were booked better and things of that nature, he'd be a bigger star in New Japan than just being part of thrown together tag teams and things like that, and then sparingly used. Right, because he's not even used on a constant basis anymore. So there's that of it. I don't necessarily know what happened here stateside with him and AEW. There were a lot of rumblings in the middle of the year about him signing with AEW, but I don't think that ever came to fruition and stuff like that. I know at the beginning part of the year he was Defy World Champion for Defy in the Northwest and stuff like that. So he was having a good indie run here in the States specifically, but from a New Japan standpoint, I would put him in the deserved better category, just because they split up his tag team for good reason, right? Because Drill is a heavyweight. He's not a junior at the end of the day, but they didn't really give Clark enough runway to do singles junior heavyweight stuff this year outside of what he did with Desperado and stuff like that. So, and that's more of a booking issue with the junior division altogether. And I think a lot of juniors are going to end up in the deserved better tank. So that's where I feel he ends up for me for this year. He deserved better, in my estimation.
I'd have to put him above the NJPW strong people because, I think he's more of mid-card because of his first half of the year. I feel like the second half of the year, definitely he deserves better, but I think the first half of the year, he's more of like a mid-card guy, but I can understand if the second half is how they leave you. It's how they leave you. So sometimes you got to favor that ahead. But let's stick with the War Dogs and go to your favorite wrestler in the world, J-News, David Finlay. David Finlay had quite the year in 2025. He started off the year with the best match at Wrestle Kingdom 19 against Yota Tsuji, losing the IWGP Global Heavyweight Championship. He followed that up with a banger the next night at Wrestle Dynasty, where he picked up a win over Brody King. From there, he was a big part of the New Japan Cup, where he went to the finals and defeated Shota Umino to grab the cup, his first cup win, his first major tournament win in New Japan Pro Wrestling. From that win, he, of course, challenged Hirooki Goto for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship at Sakura Genesis, coming just short of winning that one. And then he became embroiled in the whole War Dogs House of Torture rivalry, which gave us one of probably the most underrated New Japan matchup of the year, which is that dog pound steel cage match where the War Dogs were able to pick up the victory. From there, though, I said he was in one of the best matches of the year with Yota Tsuji. He was in a great match with Hirooki Goto, a banger with Brody King. He was also a part of one of the worst matches of the year with Evil, a dog collar match back at Dominion, where he suffered the loss. Then he entered, of course, into the G1 Climax tournament and had a strong showing there as well. Some memorable matches with Yota Tsuji and Yuya Uemura, but didn't quite make it that far into the tournament, only making it to the quarterfinals, where he lost to Konosuke Takeshita, the eventual winner of the entire tournament. From there, David Finlay, the second half of the year, has been having some great matches with the likes of Yota Tsuji. And then, of course, the coming off the heels of that loss to Yota Tsuji outside of the tournament, Yota Tsuji would go on to win back the Global Heavyweight Championship from David Finlay's stablemate, Gabe Kidd, which led to a big moment for the War Dogs and David Finlay this year, which was the alliance between the War Dogs and the unaffiliated bunch, which really was the highlight of World Tag League, with him and Hiromu being one of the notable teams in this year's tournament, and their whole dynamic with Finlay attacking him and using his body as a weapon against his opponents, which led to one of the best matches of the entire tournament with the Knockout Brothers. David Finlay, I think, one of the strongest years of anybody on this roster.
So I'm gonna base this off of what happened in the ring instead of using my usual bias against David Finlay, right? So I feel like as I've gotten older in life, I've matured in life, I can separate, I can compartmentalize things when it comes to skill, ability, and the and his overall body of work in 2025. So let's scroll up. Let's scroll up at SP3. He's on the top end of the he's on the top end of the ranking system here. He's not a Tokyo Dome headliner.
Hey, I would say I would put him in Lion Mark Pride.
There you go. That's where I was going. You know what, man? I give you that second tier. David Finlay, Lion Mark Pride suits you, because for all the crap I've given you over the years and my prognostications and falsehoods about you leaving New Japan Pro Wrestling, and you haven't left yet. So
you did say you. I need to go back and watch
3
all
years
of
in
our
a row
content
it's
throughout
been 3 years
2025. And how no. But this year was the main year where you said it multiple times.
Yeah.
Multiple times. There was stuff to be like, he's not leaving, and then you would come on here and be like, he's leaving.
He hasn't left yet, so he's definitely still wearing the Lion Mark, and he's working there with some pride. So I got to give him that. So Lion Mark Pride fits David Finlay altogether. I have definitely enjoyed his 2025 and his in-ring work. I'm still not hovering around his character work, but hey, man, I can't take away the kinds of matches he's had this year, and how he's and to be quite honest, now he's led the Bullet Club War Dogs, even though I still feel like he doesn't really show much leadership. But hey, that's just me at the end of the day. So yeah, Lion Mark Pride for David Finlay.
We don't have to waste too much time here. Don Fale, you can join. You can either join face and mid or contract not renewed. I'll leave it up to you.
Contract not renewed, brother. Get him out of here. Get him out of here, man. He's a good human being. Is Don Fale in real life?
I loved him. I loved him when I met him. He's a great guy when I met him, but him in the ring and him this year in New Japan, just having slow, drawn-out matches, going from Bullet Club to House of Torture, just made things worse. So, get out of here.
Get out of here.
This is a strange one. We have Doki now. Doki, of course, started the year as IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion. He suffers an injury against El Desperado on January 4th at Wrestle Kingdom, which takes him out pretty much for the majority of the year. But he was coming off a great 2024 with that IWGP Junior Heavyweight title run. And then, of course, New Japan going to New Japan. When Doki returned, he returned as the mystery partner for show for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Championships and basically turned heel by joining the House of Torture. They would win the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Championships. Not only that, but they would win the entire Super Junior Tag League as well. Doki would then also win the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship from Desperado. So he is a double champion closing out the year, but he will not defend either one of his titles at the Tokyo Dome on January 4th at Wrestle Kingdom, the biggest Wrestle Kingdom in about 5 years. So it's a strange one because with the success that he had at the end of the year, being a double champion, that should put him on one of our higher tiers, but just the decision to put someone who had such a great IWGP Junior Heavyweight title run into the objectively the worst faction in New Japan and unobjectively maybe the worst faction in all of wrestling, I think is a misstep by New Japan.
It's a big misstep by New Japan. So, he's above mid. He's above deserves better because he actually, he came back in good time after his injury. Like you said, he started off the year on a roll. I, for one, thought that he was eventually going to get past that marker of defenses with the Junior Heavyweight Championship if he hadn't gotten hurt. But like you said, after they had him appear as a member of the House of Torture, I just couldn't take him seriously. And him not being on Wrestle Kingdom is just such a slap in the face to the juniors, yo. And I just. Yeah, man. I think let's see. Above deserve better. I think it's one of the categories that we don't have filled yet. Do we have a real mid-card category? Yeah, that's where he would fit.
Yeah, let's put him in mid-card.
Yeah, that's where he would fit.
Yeah, he's a mid-card guy. Because he wasn't mid exactly. He had some mid booking, but himself, he wasn't mid.
No, he wasn't mid. Yeah.
All right, now we got the Drilla Maloney. Of course, he started off the year as part of the Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Championship ladder match at Wrestle Kingdom, coming up short with his partner Clark Connors. But from there, he would make the transition to the heavyweight division and had a very notable and fun rivalry with Shingo Takagi, scoring a victory over him to secure his spot in the heavyweight division of sorts. He would then be in the New Japan Cup. He came up short in the Cup, and then he would be part of the War Dogs and House of Torture rivalry, having a standout showing during the Dog Pound Steel Cage matchup at I believe it was Dantaku. Yeah, it was Dantaku. And Drilla has just been a mainstay in the heavyweight division since then. He had a good run in this year's G1. The end of the year has seen, of course, the War Dogs unaffiliated alliance and created probably my favorite new tag team in New Japan, which is the War Dragons. Drilla Maloney and Shingo Takagi taking the chemistry that they had as opponents and moving that into a tag team, which they're fired up big boys that are just going to beat the crap out of you together and drop you on your head with a War Dragon. So they were a lot of fun in this year's World Tag League. Drilla Maloney, his transition from light heavyweight to heavyweight kind of happened seamlessly, where it just was like, man, he should have been here for years, and he's been good. He's been very good in the heavyweight division. What do you think about his 2025?
He's had a good transcendent 2025, man. He's obviously he's put a lot of work into his body and stuff like that. Put a lot of work into his work in the ring as well. Just being able to hold up and compete with some of the stronger heavyweights in the New Japan lineup and roster. I would say Drilla Maloney deserves to be in the same tier as Callum Newman, up there in the All-Star tier, because he's definitely picked up his stock, buy stocks now in Drilla Maloney as he continues to ascend. And I believe I agree with what you said in our review of the World Tag League. I feel like him and Shingo should stay together. There should be a tag team for a while, but when they don't have the tag team stuff going on, I still feel like they can be used in that never open weight global championship realm and stuff like that. So I'm gonna put Drilla there in the All-Star category.
That seems like the right move there. Now we are on to a person who I am going to say here first might be our first person that we have to think about the top tier. Because El Desperado, what a year he had in 2025. He started off the year winning the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship at Wrestle Kingdom on January 4th due to the injury from Doki. But then he just goes on this magical run with so many great matches throughout this run, whether it's the matches with Yo for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship, Kosei Fujita after he won the Best of Super Juniors and had that great match in Kurgan Hall against El Desperado, the aforementioned match against Clark Connors. Just throughout the year, the Desperado was not only a main catalyst for New Japan Pro Wrestling, being the leader and the face of the junior heavyweight division as junior heavyweight champion, but he was also going all over the world, working independents and around Japan. And then he had one of the best matches of the entire year against Jun Kasai at Death Pain Invitational, just an emotional death match that I've never seen that emotional of a death match, where it felt like we're seeing a story of love and hatred and pain all mixed into one. Just a beautiful story that he told here. Unfortunately, Desperado's reign would end in October, giving him a 9-month reign as IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion in 2025. He would lose to Doki back at, I believe, Road to King of Pro Wrestling. He came up short there, but since then, he was a part of the Super Junior Tag League and recently was a part of World Tag League with Ishikawa. So he's still active. He's been a part probably more than anybody. He's probably been a part of more tournaments than anyone in New Japan this year. And he has been one of the draws for New Japan, especially with the Junior Heavyweight Championship, where he has chosen to kind of go past the beaten path, where the Junior Heavyweight Championship has always been a part of these bigger shows. Like the winner of Best of Super Juniors usually faces the champion at Dominion. And I think the thing that makes this title reign very special for Desperado is the fact of how many times he chose to get off of a big show and go on a smaller show, and he was still able to be the main event, still able to be the sellout for the show at Kurgan Hall most of the time. But Desperado, I think, is the first person that I would say deserves no doubt to be in that top two sections.
I can't disagree, but I will say, right, for all intents and purposes, Despy had the let's not forget, even though he did have a great year, he stepped in. He stepped in for Doki when Doki got hurt at the end of the day. That was supposed to be Doki's run. But the work was done. Despy's one of the best on this roster. I wish I could put him in the Tokyo Dome main event tier. I really, really wish that I could do that. But New Japan doesn't believe in the juniors enough to be able to put them there. So he will be in the Lionmark Pride category for me. Because Jesus, if you get your own invitational during the year, you get your own show during the year. I mean, that's a big deal.
That's another reason why I don't think how can we legitimately say Desperados had the same year as David Finlay? He hasn't. He has had a better year than David Finlay. He doesn't need to be. He doesn't, like, I understand what you're saying about New Japan don't push the juniors that far, but this is not about what New Japan pushes. This is about the year that he had.
You know what, man? You're right. Sometimes I can be convinced, I can be persuaded. I am a big fan of Desperado. He is the deathmatch king, no matter what anyone tells you. It's out there at the end of the day.
Dude was still wrestling consistently, wrestling more than anybody on the New Japan roster, with his back look like a fucking burn victim. His back was disgusting for like half the year, and he still kept wrestling.
Yeah, man. You know what, man? Tokyo Dome headliner, the Invitational, the matches, the run. I feel like Desperado's been on a run, and this match made the match I'm about to mention, and you know what the match I'm about to mention. This match popped back up on my timeline on Twitter the other day because it was the fourth or the fifth anniversary of the match. COVID times with him and Hiromu for the best of Super Juniors.
That was the turning point. That's the
that was the turning
star-making
point.
performance.
Yeah. Ever since then, man, Desperado's been on one. I tweeted out that it was one of those matches that's stuck with me in the 2020s. Like that's a match I have not been able to shake and or forget. And ever since then, Despi's been on a run of a lifetime. So yeah, man, he should have been headlined the Tokyo Dome if everything was everything at the end of the day. So yeah, man, he's top tier. Desperado is top tier, definitely. I'll give him that, man. So SP3's right. Let's land on that.
Then we got El Phantasmo next, who had an interesting year himself. Of course, he closes out the year as new NJPW World Television Champion, and he started the year as NJPW World Television Champion, winning a 4-way at Wrestle Kingdom. Unfortunately, he would lose that title to the Great Okan via countout, a countout loss that he would lose that title, but he would win it straight back. Like, didn't waste any time. He got the title right back from Okan. He's had 2 different reigns as NJPW World Television Champion. He's been a part of all the major tournaments, whether it be New Japan Cup, the G1 Climax tournament, recently in the World Tag League with Hiroshi Tanahashi. He's had some good matches throughout the year, had the notable rivalry with Konosuke Takeshita in the spring, where they had a series of matches. First match was for the TV title that went to a time limit, then had a great match at Resurgence for the Never Openweight Championship where Takeshita won, and then he finally beat Takeshita after 3 straight losses against the man in the G1 Climax this year. One of his better matches of that tournament. Another great match in that tournament that I remember vividly is that Zack Sabre Jr. banger that he had in the G1 Climax. So many different times he has stepped up for New Japan. He's been a consistent guy on the roster. What do you think we place Phantasmo?
I think ELP. I know he technically ELP is a part of Hantai, right? Yeah. For whatever reason, and this is just my own perception of it, I feel like he's still a man without he's like a man without a team half the time, I feel, because of how disparate Hantai is. That's just, like I said, it's just from my own personal perception. I know he's a part of the team, but like I just don't feel like he's a part of it. Like for some reason, he's not in the fabric of it all. But as of tier for ELP, strong year, majority of the year he's been TV champion, strong matches. I wouldn't put him in the same tier as Finley, but he's definitely an all-star. I would say he's had an equivalent year or that better of as Callum Newman and Drilla Maloney and stuff like that. So ELP is definitely an all-star for New Japan Pro Wrestling.
There we go. He joins Callum Newman and Drilla Maloney in All-Star. Then we got the most polarizing person on this entire roster, Evil. Evil started off the year surprising us all by actually having a great match with Hiroshi Tanahashi at the Tokyo Dome at Wrestle Kingdom. But from there, he would prove to us that he is the same Evil we've all grown and hated. He lost in the New Japan Cup to David Finlay, and then that led into the whole big war between the War Dogs and the House of Torture that led to the Dog Pound Steel Cage matchup, which House of Torture lost. But Evil would get his comeback by getting the win against David Finlay at Dominion, a Dominion dominated by House of Torture with new members being made and Evil dominating in that dog collar matchup. And then they took it one step further. If you didn't think they were taking over New Japan, well, they proved in the G1 Climax that's exactly what the fuck they are doing, as he defeated Yota Tsuji to make it to the finals of this year's G1 Climax. He came up short against Konosuke Takeshita, but he had another great matchup along the way. Evil's had 2 great matches in 2025, something I didn't think I would say on this video. And then he's closed out the year winning the Never Openweight Championship from Bolton Oleg. Then he will defend the Never Openweight Championship against his trainee, Aaron Wolf, in a big matchup at Wrestle Kingdom next year. And he was in the World Tag League with Don Fale, where they were the worst part of the tournament. So, how do you describe all of that, and where do you put Evil?
He's the head of the snake. He is the head of the House of Torture. Is Evil. Like you said, he started off the year strong, surprising us all. He surprised us all. It's like, oh, he's still got it left in him. Like they could do this, man. They could really, really do this. I don't know, man. I'm afraid. I told you. I said this during the review for the World Tag League. There is heavy concern about Wrestle Kingdom and his match with Aaron Wolf. There is heavy concern. I'm just not sure. I just don't like. Look, at the end of the day, I'm tired. I don't like the House of Torture shtick. But if we're gonna be fair, right? If we're gonna be objective as to how his year went, right? For Evil, at the end of the day, I would say he probably belongs in the mid card, man. Because he's not necessarily an all-star. No, sir. He's not an all-star.
We'll put him above Doki in mid card.
Exactly. He's not an all-star. He does not represent the pride of the Lion Mark. He's not second tier. Is Evil at all? And he's definitely not top tier. So, but he doesn't ever deserve better. And he's definitely not mid, because Evil's the main man in HOT. So, you know, I'll give him a mid card for Evil.
So, very quickly here, with the power of our pre-record nature of this video, I'm going to go through everybody that just wasn't here or got injured. So, we're going to stop it right here, and voila, we have all the people who was a part of our list that just wasn't here or hurt throughout the year. We got Francisco Akira. We got Drake Lee. We got Darren. I was about to call him Darren Young. Fred Rosser. Fred Rosser. Mikey Nichols. Jushin Thunder Liger. Mercedes Monet. Honma. John Moxley. Kevin the Jet Knight. Nikisha? Is that how you say it? Maybe. I haven't seen this guy in years.
Yeah, I haven't seen him in forever.
Nakanishi. Then we got, I think that's Nakanishi. I'm not sure.
Maybe.
We got Royce Isaacs and Jarrell Nelson. Of course, I had to avoid them being in contract not renewed, because if it was up to J-News, they would be. Hanare, who's hurt. Shane Haste, who's out. DKC, who's a part of Super Junior Tag League only. And Tenzan, who makes sporadic appearances, but that's about it. And the only other person that we ranked and we didn't put in this niggas always hurt or not here is TJP, who, because of his social media activities this year, is in contract not renewed.
There you have it.
So now we go back to our list here, and we got Kosei Fujita. Kosei Fujita started off this year probably stronger than anybody. Wrestle Kingdom, wins the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Championships with Robbie Eagles. From there, of course, he's defending, and then they eventually lose the titles right before Best of Super Juniors tournament to Master Wato and Yo, and that is all to set up Fujita to have a magical run, making it into the final of the Best of Super Juniors tournament, and putting on one of the best matches of the year from New Japan Pro Wrestling against Yo in the finals, beating him to become one of the youngest Best of Super Juniors winners. He goes on from there, does not take his shot at Dominion, and instead faces Desperado after his death match against Jun Kasai, and faces him in the Tokyo Dome in another superb matchup, but he comes up short there. And then the second half of the year is kind of what always happens to a lot of these juniors. If you are not the junior heavyweight champion or the junior heavyweight tag team champion, you kind of get lost in the shuffle in the second half of the year. He was a part of the Super Junior Tag League with Robbie Eagles, but they came up short there in block action, I believe, and didn't make it till the Did they make it? No, they didn't make it to the finals because they came up short against the Bullet Club War Dogs. So, and then the last few months, he's kind of been used on Road 2 shows mostly. So, where do you think we put Fujita?
If it were up to me, Fujita would be a freaking Tokyo Dome headliner. If it were up to me, but since we're basing
I was booking, yes,
yeah. But since we're basing this off of his 2025, and yeah, man, I put, because of how strong the year was to start, right? And obviously, like you said, the end of the year is always going to tail off for the juniors because they stopped doing the Super J Cup. They didn't do one this year, from what I remember. There was a secondary.
They haven't done it in a few years. They haven't done it in a few years.
So they haven't. There used to be a secondary junior tournament that they did in collaboration with Ref Pro as well. That didn't happen this year.
British J Cup.
British J Cup. Yeah. So the Super J Cup, no British J Cup, no Super J Cup this year. So it left a lot to be desired. There wasn't even the All-Star show this year that Hiromu did last year, I think. Or was that this year? Or last year?
No.
That was last year, right?
Last year.
Yeah. So there was no junior All-Star show this year. So, I would put Fujita, because he's still the future of that junior division. I'd give him the Lion Mark Pride end of it all, just because he's at the forefront of it. And he didn't have a better year than Despy, but I would put him on par with David Finlay, if I'm being honest. So for what it is that he does for the company. So yeah, that's where I would put him.
It makes sense. Both guys won tournaments this year, so it makes sense to put them on the same tier. Mm-hmm. Then we got an interesting one. Gabe Kidd, who kicked off the year putting on the arguably still the best match of the entire year, Wrestle Dynasty against Kenny Omega, came up as the runner-up in the Tokyo Sports bout of the year as well. From there, Gabe Kidd would be embroiled in a rivalry with Yota Tsuji, where they put on another match of the year candidate, the double knockout draw at New Beginning. And then he was also embroiled in the entirety of the War Dogs versus House of Torture rivalry, because he was the first person attacked by the House of Torture when they made their claim that they were the real Bullet Club and not the War Dogs. So he became embroiled in that, had a great performance, got the win for the War Dogs in the Dog Pound Steel Cage matchup after coming up short in the New Japan Cup after he was screwed over by the House of Torture. And then he refocused his direction towards the Global Heavyweight Championship and his rivalry with Tsuji. He would go on to beat Tsuji at Dominion in a very polarizing matchup. Some people love it, some people hate it, but I thought it was very good. But he won the title there. He would enter the G1 Climax tournament, and unfortunately, injury would stop his tournament. After a great matchup with Konosuke Takeshita, he suffered a knee injury, and that would take him out for the duration of the tournament. Really, one of the bigger elements of the year for Gabe Kidd is the fact that his entire year was not in New Japan. It was also spread out along in AEW, where he became an unaffiliated or unofficial member of the Death Riders, helping Jon Moxley on several occasions retain the AEW World Championship, helping them in trios matches. He was a part of the huge All in Texas event where he teamed with the Death Riders against the Ops for the AEW World Trios Championships. He had a mini feud with Mark Briscoe that probably deserved better than getting a whole angle that they did to shoot the feud. And then their only interaction was involved with both men and getting involved in the Anarchy in the Arena. He had a portion of that. He also got involved in the men's Blood and Guts matchup where he lit the tables on fire that Pac would throw Darby Allin through. But Gabe Kidd did also keep his focus on New Japan Pro Wrestling, being global heavyweight champion. He had a great match with Hiroshi Tanahashi in the summer, had another great matchup with Shingo Takagi at Destruction, and then he would come up short and lose the title in a fantastic matchup to end the trilogy in 2025 with him and Yota Tsuji at Final Homecoming. And then after the matchup, they showed respect to one another, and they were the catalyst for the whole coming together of the War Dogs and Unaffiliated, which led to Gabe Kidd making his back-to-back straight final of the World Tag League, where him and Yota Tsuji put on another tremendous performance as a team this time against TMDK before coming up short in the final. Gabe Kidd, where are we putting him for 2025, J-News?
Oh, man. It's like you said, this is tough, man. This is tough because if I'm being completely fair and objective about this, based on the tier list that we've created so far, I'm going to pose it to you this way. Wouldn't you say he's had a better year than David Finlay?
Yes and no. Okay. I think performance in the ring wise, yes.
Okay.
But the fans have grown in love. The New Japan fans specifically have grown in love with David Finlay through his hard work and his performances in matches.
Sure.
Due to his affiliation with AEW and the Death Riders, they've grown out of love with Gabe Kidd. And that's another element of it all throughout this year.
The Japanese crowd has definitely.
I think it's evened out where they could be on this. Me personally, I would put them on the same tier.
So Gabe Kidd has definitely drawn the ire of the Japanese contingent and a good part of the Western contingent of New Japan fans as well. I couldn't get behind that. Like, to me, it was just, it's wrestling being wrestling at the end of the day. Like, secondarily, if you're given the opportunity to get that sort of exposure, why not? You know what I'm saying? It's like, I think yet again, the only members of the War Dogs to not appear on AEW TV this year, I think, was David Finlay. Even Ishimori, I think, made a freaking AEW appearance this year at some point. Which was
Drilla made an AEW appearance?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the tag match at Forbidden Door. Right.
Yeah, man. I think David, and yet again, I think there is buzz or at least speculation about as to why David Finlay has not made an AEW appearance. But that is going to be what it's going to be. But we're talking about Gabe Kidd here. I don't know, man. I had him in that headliner category in my head because of the matches that he had this year, right? He's had a couple of matches which could be considered matches of the year in 2025. David Finlay's got good and great matches, but he hasn't been in that tier of matches as so far. And yet again, you know me, with my bias at the end of the day, I figured Gabe to be the real leader of the War Dogs at the end of the day. But
you're trying to talk yourself into it.
To be fair though, you're right in the estimation of how the fan base treats Gabe now. The ire that he's drawn because of his affiliation with AEW. Him always talking about how he does everything for the Lion Mark, and people just feel like he's a hypocrite about it and stuff like that. So even though he's always pounding on that Lion Mark every time he's in that ring, it's ironic that he's for the intents and purposes of us doing this tier list, he's gonna end up in the Lion Mark Pride part of it, because yeah, man, he's not below it. He's not an all-star. He's above Callum Newman. You know what I'm saying? So it's like we can't put him there.
Definitely.
So Lion Mark Pride for Gabe at the end of the day. Because
we'll put him at the top. Because he did have a great year, and I'm also like you. I don't really believe in the whole let's turn it against Gabe Kidd type of thing either. But I will say, if I'm going to give him some honest criticism, he did not handle any of the fan criticism correctly. Like, there was a way to explain your affiliation with AEW and the Death Riders and your love for New Japan, and he just chose to do nothing. Like, that's the worst thing you could have done. To choose to do nothing and just go with the flow, that's the worst thing you could have possibly done.
Yeah. So we'll leave it.
He will have to land just below the headlines.
Yeah.
All right. We got the team bookers. We got Gato and Dick Togo, which is mostly we are not going to be grading them on what they did in the ring. We're going to grade them on their booking this year, which I will just start us off with Dick Togo, and I will put him contract not renewed because he's responsible for all of the House of Torture stuff this year. But Gato, I would say I would aim towards mid, but where are you at?
Yeah, no, same. I thought Gato was mid this year. He wasn't good, he wasn't great, but he wasn't the worst either. So he's definitely mid. And Dick Togo deserves to not be anywhere near anything right now. And for shame for the other members of the House of Torture for even taking on his name during the tag tournament. At the end of the day, Dick Togo the second and Dick Togo the third, just because he couldn't be there, you wanted to represent for him. Like, no, you don't represent for Dick Togo. You just leave him out. All right? Damn it.
I feel you on that. Hirooki Goto. I mean, before we get into this year, not even.
Yeah, he goes straight to the top.
Straight to the top. Straight to the top. Above Desperate. Above Desperate. It's Goto. Goto started off the year winning the Rambo at Wrestle Kingdom, then puts on a match of the year candidate with Zack Sabre Jr. at New Beginning to finally win the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship, the defining moment, in my opinion, of the year of New Japan Pro Wrestling in 2025. He put on a magical reign as IWGP World Heavyweight Champion, beating the likes of Hiroshi Tanahashi, Callum Newman, Shingo Takagi. He had runs with Zack Sabre Jr., had another match with Zack where he lost the title in July. He took a couple of months off, and in the couple of months off, it wasn't to recover from injury, it was to film one of the biggest movies of next year, Street Fighter, where he will play E Honda. So he's going to become a mainstream star next year when he's a part of that movie. And then he comes back, he's a part of the World Tag League, him and Bishamon doing their thing. He had that fantastic match with Takeshita at Final Homecoming. Hirooki Goto, you are the Tokyo Dome headliner for me.
Absolutely, man. The Goto revolution is still going on right now. Folks need to get behind that. I cannot and will not. I refuse to get behind that Street Fighter movie. Did you see that damn teaser trailer? That shit looks awful. It looks awful. God damn it. Jesus Christ.
Cody looked pretty bad. I will say. Yeah, Cody looked pretty bad. I actually like the look for Goto as he Honda.
I didn't mind Goto. Freaking Roman looked bad as fucking Akuma. Yes. I couldn't. Nah, man, I can't get behind that, man.
He's like, I can't support this.
I can't get behind it.
What was your favorite Goto title defense of his reign?
Oh Jesus, man! His match against Zack, the first one, the when he won
I said the title reign, the title reign of the title reign. That's what I said. Title defense. What's your favorite title defense?
Shoot, why am I drawing a blank right now? I'm
probably gonna go with the Shingo match at Dominion.
Yeah. Did he face off against the?
I thought you would automatically say the Callum match.
Yeah, because I was a big fan of that match. I thought it was his break. I thought it was Callum's breakout match, and I thought that's where we started to see Callum turn the tide, attitude-wise as well. I'm gonna go with that just because I feel this is my personal opinion. At the end of the day, I feel like the Gaijin wrestlers in New Japan have needed to step up outside of Gabe, and Callum finally did something that is, especially in his match against Goto, where I was like, yo, this kid can hang in that division if they needed him to, you know. And like I said, with Callum's work with Naito before Naito left and stuff like that, or whatever the case is, but if I'm going, it's for Goto's matches this year, it's the Callum match and then the match against Takeshita at the end of the day at was it the US show? Yeah. So
no, the Takeshita match was Final Homecoming.
Okay, Final Homecoming. Okay, So so yeah, so those two stand out to me during the title reign.
All right, I was putting some of these groups together so we could do them one shot, one kill here. But we got United Empire. The rest of United Empire is next. Great Okan and JAY. JAY mid.
So
only because he's a young boy. He doesn't win.
He's a
all
young
the time.
boy. Yeah. I agree. I got you. Yeah, he's mid. JY's mid.
Great Okan, I think also kind of mid.
Yeah, I mean he's above, Cats who's never there and contract not renewed. So yeah, Okan goes to mid too.
Yeah, Okan, like we kind of already have covered through other people. Okan's here. He was TV champion. He was tag team champion. So he's had a couple of runs. Like I think you can even make the argument that Okan deserves like mid card. But I mean, do you want to put him in mid card?
No, because
he's had two title reigns though.
Yeah, but objectively, though.
Say hi.
Hi. But objectively though, I feel like Doki and Evil had. Hi. How you doing?
I'm making buffalo tea posters.
Okay.
Continue. I'm sorry.
I feel like Doki and Evil, for all intents and purposes, have had more spotlighted years than Okan. So I feel like Okan being in mid is where he belongs, to be honest. He didn't deserve any better. He doesn't put the work in to deserve better. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah, Okan's mid.
That is fair. That is fair. And that was a run-in for all our Harlem fans in the chat or watching. Takamichi Noku.
We should have just had for all intents and purposes, we should have had a New Japan Dads tier, and we could have put a bunch of guys in it.
I don't know about that one. But yeah, Taka barely been here. If we are gonna rank him in one of these, I would say mid.
I would say mid because Taka's been there for the majority of the year. Of the elder statesmen in New Japan, he's been there for the majority of the year. He wasn't in World Tag League, but he was in Super Junior Tag League, and he was in every other show. He was at all the other tours before that. So at the end of the day, mid is fine. I feel like next up is Robbie Eagles.
We got Robbie Eagles and Hartley Jackson. We got the rest of TMDK. If I'm not missing
I feel like Robbie deserved better, if I'm being completely honest. I feel like Robbie deserved better. He wasn't booked towards the beginning of the year for some odd reason. A lot of stuff was weird at the beginning of the year. And then when Robbie did get booked, Robbie does what Robbie does. Actually, Robbie made two appearances on ROH TV this year. So Robbie was able to make it stateside and stuff, and he's a phenomenal in-ring technician and in-ring performer. So it's always cool to see Robbie Eagles do his thing, especially as one half of the Ichiban Sweet Boys. So, I'll put him in deserve better because I feel like Robbie deserved better this in 2025. Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. Robbie Eagles, he was the IWGP Tag Team Champion this year, part of the Best of Super Juniors and Super Junior Tag League, but I thought he should have made it to this Best of Super Juniors finals. I think that, although Fujita versus Yo was awesome, my prediction at the beginning was Eagles versus Fujita. That would have been even, I think, as good or even better.
Agreed.
All right, so we got Eagles and deserve better. Hartley Jackson, mid,
yeah. I'll put Hartley
or
in
deserve
mid.
better. I don't know.
Mid works for me at the end of the day. I'm not too sure how strong of a commitment New Japan has to Hartley Jackson. That's why I'm putting him there in mid. Yeah,
that is true. Now we got LIJ, or the rest of LIJ here. We'll throw this individual up here as well. But we got Shingo Takagi first. Shingo Takagi had a number of great matches throughout the year. The notable rivalry and series of matches with Drilla Maloney. He had a great matchup with Gabe Kidd for the IWGP Global Heavyweight Championship. Had a solid run in the G1 Climax with one of the best matches of the tournament against Konosuke Takeshita. He had that notable matchup with Takeshita where he lost the Never Openweight Championship at Wrestle Kingdom as well. He's had great matches throughout the year. The Goto IWGP World Heavyweight Championship matchup at Dominion. So he's throughout the year, he has delivered and come through for New Japan time in, time out. Shingo Takagi, one of the most dependable and best workers in all of New Japan Pro Wrestling. Where are we going to put Shingo at?
If it were up to me, Shingo Takagi will always be a Tokyo Dome headliner. But since we're talking about 2025, I would say this is probably it's not a down year. Don't get it twisted. It's not a down year, but he's been there. So I would say All-Star fits the bill because he hasn't had a stronger year than Finley and Fujita and Gabe, in my estimation. I think All-Star is fair for this year, for just talking about this year for Shingo Takagi. Yeah, that's where I would put him. What about you, SP3? What did you have in mind for him?
I was aiming more towards like mid card or all-star. I can see all-star because he's been better than overall than Evil and Doki. So exactly. Yeah, all-star seems right.
All-star.
And then finally, Yoda Tsuji, who we got Hiromu next. Hiromu has been kind of all over the place, like more than usual with Hiromu Takahashi. He started off the year IWGP World Tag Team Champion with Naito. They won the titles from the Young Bucks at New Beginning. That came off the heels of them going at each other and facing each other at the Tokyo Dome. Going against Naito at Wrestle Kingdom. They won the titles from the Young Bucks in February. They would only hold the titles for a short time before United Empire dethroned them. Of course, Naito would be leaving the company in the spring. And then Hiromu was kind of just all over the place. He was in the Best of Super Juniors tournament. He was going over to Pro Wrestling Noah to win the GAC World Junior Heavyweight Championship. He would go back to New Japan and team up with David Finlay in World Tag League. He teamed up with Gato in Super Junior Tag League following the War Dogs unaffiliated combination and stuff like that. So Hiromu's had the kind of this strange year, especially when it comes to specifically New Japan Pro Wrestling. Yeah, I think that this would be a year that I would say Hiromu was more of like, he deserved better in New Japan specifically, but he's been all over the place, so I could see him being an all-star as well.
Yeah, I would say it being a strange year is definitely hitting the nail on the head for Hiromu. He's one of their most charismatic guys, and I feel like he doesn't, this year specifically, he hasn't been able to stand out as much as he has in recent years. So for the level of his star power in New Japan, All-Star seems fitting, but deserve better because of the booking overall for the junior division. I think is a strong candidate as well, but All-Star isn't far-fetched either because he always puts on strong performances and he's always there when called upon. So there's that of it.
Yeah, just let's say, deserve better. It's probably closer to what Hiromu deserves, because for him to have a whole year where he really wasn't like put in a prominent role in the heavyweight division and was kind of scared, they were scarced away putting him in a prominent position in the junior heavyweight division as well. He's a guy who should always be in one of the tops of any division in the company, and the fact that he wasn't throughout 2025, deserves better seems accurate.
Absolutely.
All right, and then we got here Yoda Tsuji. Yoda Tsuji, arguably one of the best years of anybody in New Japan Pro Wrestling. He kicked off the year winning the Global Heavyweight Championship from David Finlay at Wrestle Kingdom. He would go on to defend the title against Jack Perry the following night at Wrestle Dynasty and defeat him. He stole the show at the Tokyo Dome at Wrestle Kingdom, then stole the show at New Beginning in a Match of the Year candidate against Gabe Kidd, where they went to a double knockout draw. Evil would eliminate him from New Japan Cup, but he would get his revenge on Evil at Sakura Genesis, beating him there. He would then face a returning Yuya Uemura in another fantastic matchup at Duntaku. Then following Duntaku, he was challenged by Gabe Kidd in a rematch from New Beginning, where he came up short, lost the Global Heavyweight Championship, and many people believe that was a sign that Yoda Tsuji was going to make it to the finals of the G1 Climax. He made it as far as the semifinals, and he would lose to Evil there. But he was able to redeem himself a few months later by regaining the Global Heavyweight Championship and going on to challenge Konosuke. Great matchup against Hiroshi Tanahashi at Final Homecoming. After beating him in his hometown, he made the challenge to Takeshita. He's going to be in the semi-main event of Wrestle Kingdom in 2026. He has 2 reigns as Global Heavyweight Champion this year. Notable great matches. Yoda Tsuji is a lock for the top 2 tiers, in my opinion. What do you think?
Yep. I'm not disagreeing. He's a Tokyo Dome headliner guy, in my estimation. We're hitching the entire New Japan wagon on Yoda Tsuji right now, because his some of his fellow generation bandmates haven't caught up yet. So we're hitching that wagon to Tsuji, and Tsuji is going to be part of the semi-main, like you said, going into the Tokyo Dome at Wrestle Kingdom 20 this year. He deserves all the flowers for his work, and also for not for nothing, also all of his interview work that he's done this year as well. Basically, just leaning into how much of a main eventer he is, how much he represents New Japan. That he's not the hypocrite. He wants to end the curse of the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. Wants to bring back the lineage of the version 4 of the heavyweight title and stuff like that. Bring some traditions back, and he wants to be at the forefront of New Japan Pro Wrestling in an age of prosperity. And I think a couple of days ago as well, not that I think I did read this, he was talking about how he feels like New Japan talent deserve to be paid 100 million yen. And I said to myself, hold on, brother. Hold on, guy. Wait a minute. I was like, that's a pretty penny there, man. You know what I'm saying? So, not for nothing. He's out here talking for the people, man. You know what I'm saying? And he's trying to get it. He's getting that Bushi Road there. You know what I'm saying? So for all intents and purposes, Yoda Tsuji, yeah, man, get behind this man. He's out here trying to do better for New Japan.
Yeah, man. Yoda Tsuji has really become a leader before our eyes and a top star before our eyes over the last couple of years. And hopefully you're going to be watching this right a couple of days before he wins at the Tokyo Dome and becomes the champion of all champions, the unified champion at Wrestle Kingdom. So we'll see what happens there. Coming off the heels of Tsuji at the top, Tokyo Dome headliner, we're going to move on down, and we got Tomohiro Ishii, one of the veterans of New Japan Pro Wrestling. He started off the year with an absolute certified banger in the streets in the Tokyo Dome against Konosuke Takeshita for the Never Openweight Championship. He would be involved in the New Japan Cup. He would come up short in the first round of the tournament there. He won the tag team championships with Tai Chi, them coming together and becoming tag team champions, beating the United Empire for the gold. But unfortunately, that reign did not last too long as they were dethroned of the IWGP World Tag Team Championships by the Knockout Brothers in the fall. Tomohiro Ishii also was partnered up with the AEW as he was a part of the conglomeration over in AEW as Big Tom, the silent killer for Mark Briscoe, Orange Cassidy, and company over there. So he's been back and forth. He was supposed to be a part of the World Tag League tournament, but unfortunately he suffered a knee injury in his match against Pac in AEW a couple of months ago. So he was unable to compete in the tournament, but he is out to end the year, but we can't say he's niggas always hurt because he was only hurt by the end of the year, but he was very inconsistent because he had some time in AEW, had some time in NJPW. So where do we place Ishii for 2025?
Big Tom, he wasn't necessarily, when he was on, he wasn't necessarily having a stellar year either. It is, and obviously he's injured now. This sounds blasphemous for Tomohiro Ishii, but I think for 2025, with everything that's gone on this year, I think that Big Tom is in 2025. If I'm being completely honest.
Whoa. Okay. All right. So I know we have Great O'Khan in mid, and he was a champion. But I feel like if you win a title, you don't belong in mid. I was aiming for Ishii. I would either
mid-card?
say deserves better or mid card. Yeah.
I mean, it can't be deserves because, to your point, he can't be deserves better because he won a title, right? But the man, New Japan, and to mention this, New Japan in his booking has done a huge disservice to that strong brand, obviously, right? Those titles don't mean anything right now.
Is he still the strong champion?
Yes, he's still the strong champion.
I totally forgot. He did also have those two great matches with Gabe Kidd on the US shows. Yeah, the time limit draw at Battle in the Valley, 30-minute time limit draw, and then the rematch at Strong's in April in Chicago. So yeah, I think with those matches, as well as winning the tag team titles, and when he's here, he always delivers and he brings you an Ishii performance. I would say mid card. We got Evil in mid card. Like, you're telling me Ishii isn't on mid card?
No, I mean, you're right. Put him in front of Evil. Put him in front of Evil. I'm gonna do it that way.
I'm like, yeah, you can't tell me that's a worse year than Evil.
Put him in front of Evil.
I just realized he has this defunct title of the NJPW Strong World NJPW Strong Openweight Champion.
And if I'm not mistaken, I believe TJP and Templario are still the
No, they're not. They lost to Hermanos Chavez.
That's right. Yeah. So the CMLL guys are currently the New Japan Strong champions. Oh, big shout out to Ángel del Oro and Niebla Roja. But yeah, goddamn. All right. Anyways.
We move on to Taiji Ishimori of the Bullet Club War Dogs. This year, he officially became a member of the Bullet Club War Dogs. We started off the year with him challenging El Desperado for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship in a very good matchup at Battle in the Valley. Of course, Ishimori was a part of both of the major junior heavyweight tournaments this year with the Best of Super Juniors as well as the Super Junior Tag League. Him teaming up with Robbie X made it all the way to the finals before coming up short against the House of Torture. He was a part of the War Dogs House of Torture rivalry, where he had a standout performance in the Dog Pound Steel cage match with the little moonsault dive off that cage. So he's entrenched in the Bullet Club War Dogs. He kind of made that his transition official this year with that, and we'll talk about his tag team partner next as well. But where do you think Ishimori is at?
So as I said with Despy earlier, anyone who gets their own invitational show on the year automatically shoots themselves to at least the upper third of the stratosphere here. And he delivers all the time, man. Taiji Ishimori, even at his age, I believe Taiji's 45, if I'm not mistaken, somewhere around there, or at least in his early 40s, because he's been wrestling for 20 plus years. Yeah, man. Man. I put him.
I would say mid card.
Yeah, you put him in mid card. I would for me, I would have put him up there with Shingo and stuff like that in the all-star level, just because he's been around all year. He hasn't missed any time. From what I remember, unless he was injured at some point. Maybe.
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know because I think that Callum Newman, Drilla Maloney, El Phantasmo, Shingo Takagi were a little bit more prominent than Ishimori. So, I would put him close. I put him closer to the top of mid card than the bottom, but I think he's closer to that group than this group.
Fair enough. I guess. I mean, for all intents and purposes, because he has been active all year, he shoots to the front of the mid card. So I'd put him in front of Big Tom. And obviously, he goes in front of the House of Torture guy. So it is what it is.
Yeah, of course. Everybody who's going to mid card is probably going to be above the House of Torture guys. So then we got his tag team partner, Robbie X, who was very limited, of course, because he is not a full-time in Japan guy, but he was a part of the Best of Super Juniors tournament where he had a strong showing there. He was a part of the group that was in competition to make it to the end. He actually lost right at the end, in the end of the block play. That's how he lost and was eliminated from the tournament there. And then, of course, the strong showing in the Super Junior Tag League, where him and Ishimori made it all the way to the finals. And of course, when Robbie X is not in New Japan, he's tearing it up on the UK independent scene. He's one of the top stars for Rev Pro, among other places. So where are we going to put Robbie X, one of our part-time stars here in New Japan?
Oh, man. It's tough because Robbie showed out during the tag tournament.
He did.
So... And he did, and like you said, he did well in the Best of Super Juniors. So would we put him in the not there category? No, he's not mid because he's not. He's better than the guys that are there. Yes. Could he deserve better? He's part-time.
I think this deserve better would be more of he deserved more opportunities.
Sure.
He deserved more tours. I think that fits along with the best deserves better. I think he does fit in with this group more than any of the upper groups.
I would agree. I'd agree. Yeah, absolutely. So deserve better for Robbie X.
Then we got Jado, which you just tell me. Jado, he's there.
He's there, right?
He's so not really there.
Yeah, he's mid. Yeah, Jado's mid. He's still, he makes the wheel turn at the end of the day. So.
He's a driver. He's a bus driver.
Oh, man.
All right, then we got the rest of the House of Torture, and look at this group of individuals.
See, I'm not gonna do Uncle Nobu like I'm gonna do Yujiro at the end of the day.
Yeah. Uncle Nobu is like, out of all the House of Torture people, it's just like you're not doing much different than what you were doing in Suzuki-gun. So It's not as bad as everybody else. And sometimes he does make me laugh with his need to be the referee of different House of Torture matches and stuff. I would say out of all the House of Torture members, he's the most harmless of the crew, but I would still put him in mid.
Yes, agreed. Agreed. Yoshinobu Kanemaru at 49 years old is mid. So
Then we got Sonata, which
let me be fair. Let me be fair.
this faction whore who
Yeah,
started off the year. He started off the year with the what? No, did he become a member of the War? No, he became a member of the War Dogs last year. So he came into this year as a member of the War Dogs. Yeah, that was last year because him and Gabe made it to the World Tag League final.
Yeah. Okay.
So that was last year, and then this year he starts off the year with the War Dogs, not really doing much. He got into it, I think, with Uemura. He had a feud with for a little bit. He had a feud with Drilla Maloney that led to a hardcore matchup between those two that he lost. He was a part of the New Japan Cup and he was a part of the G1 Climax. Really kind of one of the lower half performers in those tournaments. And of course, he played a major role in the War Dogs and House of Torture rivalry, where he turned on the War Dogs and joined up with his former LIJ tag team partner, Evil, in his House of Torture. So that is, for the most part, Sonata's year.
And so, and you got to give him credit where credit is due. Sonata drew some color this year, which I was not expecting for all intents and purposes. So if I'm being fair to Sonata, no, he doesn't deserve any better, but he is, just for his actions, right? Like, the fan in me that was balling with Sonata in the gym, I'm always going to think with my heart that he deserves better, but he just the performances weren't there. He's mid card at best at this point. End of the mid card for Sonata.
he can join the upper half of the House of Torture in mid card. He is a former world champion.
Absolutely.
Yujiro Takahashi, I'll leave it up to you.
Yeah, contract not renewed. That's where he needs to be. That's where Yujiro needs to be.
All right, we done. We all finished. No more House of Torture. Oh no, I forgot one because he's not wearing his colors. He's not wearing his colors. Show. We got Show.
Yeah, there's two of them.
Where else? Oh my god, they're like an affection. I don't even see them all. Like, who else? I don't see who else.
Renarita's after Oleg.
I did not even recognize this fool. Did not even recognize this fool at all. So, okay, Show, Ren Narita. Where are we putting them?
Boy. You know what? Didn't they're champions currently, aren't they?
Show is one half of the IWGP junior heavyweight tag team champions. Ren Narita, I don't think he's a champion because they lost the never open weight six-man tag team titles.
Okay. Let's put him in the mid card with the rest of with the majority of the rest of the group.
Show and Ren?
Well, Show. Ren Narita. Ren Narita. He's mid. Red Narita's mid. Yeah. Red Narita's mid.
He had some bright spots throughout the year. Like, I thought his performance in the Dog Pound Steel Cage matchup was very notable. Good. Anytime he was in there with Gabe Kidd this year, that's when we got a little bit of fire from Ren Narita this year, but it was too far and few between.
Good point. So there that goes. Then we've got
then we got Young Lion. So you want to call them out? We got Morishima first. Where are you putting them?
So it's Morishima. We have Daiki Nagai, Zayn J, Yasuda, Shimakato. Let's not forget Matsumoto. Matsumoto's actually after Makabe here.
Okay.
If there's anybody else, no, everybody else is fine. So the Young Lions deserve their flowers this year because they've all brought a good amount of energy. They're all diverse. They're all unique guys. Daiki Nagai, obviously part of the unaffiliated bunch. Yasuda and Shomakato and Murashima. They've been getting a lot of work between Hantai and am I forgetting something? Yeah, just Hantai, really, right?
Fun time because they broke up all the other groups.
Yeah, I thought Yasuda was getting reps with another group there, but I'm probably just mistaking it or whatever.
Oh, he was kind of teaming up with the former Just Four guys because he became like the young lion for the young boy for Tai Chi.
Yeah, and Matsumoto is the young lion for somebody specifically. I'm just forgetting the young boy for somebody specifically. I'm just forgetting who right now. But yeah, I think the young lions all deserve to be in the same realm outside of Daiki Nagai. Daiki Nagai is really the standout, right?
I was gonna say Daiki Nagai has earned his spot in mid card.
Yeah, so Nagai is in the mid card, and then the rest of the guys are below. So mid card is above. Yeah, Daiki Nagai mid card. So I would say
you're actually gonna make young lion history, and we're gonna put you above people.
Yeah, put you above Daiki Nagai in the mid card. And I would say not that the young lions deserve better, but they would be mid. In my estimation, yeah, the whole crop would be mid.
Zane J had a nice little run on freaking NJPW Strong, where he became the strong survivor. Mm-hmm. So yeah, all of these guys have shown potential, but they're still a ways away, and they don't win matches at all either. So it's not like they are gonna be in like. All of them are going to be in like the all-star. They have no shot of being in those top ones. However, I will give some pushback. I think that Morishima is probably closer to mid-card than mid, because he seems like he is the guy that they have outside of it's him and the guy are the two guys that they say they are telling us as viewers. These are the guys that are leading this new pack of young lions. And the fact that I think what was he had this whole winning streak against all the other young lions for so long. I think that he probably can go to probably after the House of Torture guys on. Yeah.
So I think Murashima, he should be first in line for his excursion. If anything. So yeah, he's the leader of the pack of all the young guys. And stuff like that. I would say the way it's ordered, Murashima probably, That makes sense. End of the mid card is good for Murashima. So there's that with the younger guys and stuff like that.
We'll line up everybody at the end of how we want to place everybody in all of these tiers, but we got a trio of New Japan dads. We got Kojima, we got Nagata, and we got Makabe. I can't even really go through most of their years because they are basically part-time stars, all three of them.
But we've seen more of Koji recently than the other two.
With Team 100 alongside Tai Chi in the World Tag League.
That's right. So, me, I've never been a big fan of Makabe at the end of the day. I feel like he belongs in that contract not renewed list. That's just me.
I'm kind of with you. I've not been a fan of any Makabe matchup since he left the Never Openweight division.
Yeah, man. And, people will always try to justify the dark ages of New Japan Pro Wrestling in the mid-aughts. And he was a big part of that. I never saw it. I just didn't. He wasn't my bag even back then. Same thing with Hiroshi Tenzan. Even in the mid 90s, late 90s, early 2000s, it wouldn't happen for me. But the other two New Japan dads, the stalwarts, Kojima and Blue Justice. Blue Justice always needs his props in my estimation. He leads the No Game Dojo at the end of the day. So
forgot to mention, Nagata had that great match with Hirooki Goto for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship.
That's right. So I would say the New Japan dads, they're mid. They're mid because they
top of mid.
They
deserve
top mid.
I'm getting close to coming to your understanding. Maybe by the end we might make a new tier for the New Japan dads. Because it is kind of insulting to put them in mid, but this is the only one that fits them for now.
For next year.
Unfortunately, yeah. Kushida was mostly used in the tournaments of the Best of Super Juniors and Super Junior Tag League. This year, he was very sporadic in his usage. A lot of that comes down to the fact that his regular tag team partner in New Japan Pro Wrestling, Kevin the Jet Knight, made the decision to sign a dual contract. So he's spending most of his time in AEW, where he's already formed a new great tag team with Speedball Mike Bailey, Jet Speed. So kind of has put Kushida in a strange position in the world of New Japan, in my opinion. So where are we putting Kushida?
It's a good question. He does lead the LA dojo, he's part of the New Japan Academy stuff because he lives in America now. He's really part-time. So I was thinking not here for me. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's barely here. If he is here, he's barely here.
Yeah.
So then we got Boltin Oleg, one of your other favorites, J-News. Boltin Oleg came into this year making the full transition to full-time singles performer, main roster, New Japan talent. This year, he won the Never Openweight Championship from Konosuke Takeshita. His best matches of the year were against Takeshita. I'm not surprised. He had a pretty fine showing in the G1 Climax. He had a win or two in the New Japan Cup as well, but just very inconsistency, especially in the latter half of the year. His Never Openweight title run really amounted to nothing. He lost to Evil in the tournament in the G1 Climax, and then lost his title defense against Evil after the G1. So, and then he was in World Tag League, but he was partnered up with Toru Yano, which meant that I was not going to watch any of their matches other than their Gabe Kid and Yota Tsuji main event, which was good. So I'll give him that. So he had some bangers, won a title, but very inconsistent as far as quality of work. Where do you think Boltin Oleg lands?
He is the epitome of mediocre. So you can leave him at the mid. That's all I've got to say.
Damn. This man can't even get mid card?
No.
Put him right next to the other champion in mid. Then we got the older pitchers, but still the same people.
They're going in together.
Probably known as Yuto Nakahashi or something like that. Nakajima and Oscar Lobe. They are now Yuto Ice and Oscar, the Knockout Brothers, who have taken New Japan Pro Wrestling by storm. If we're going to give MVPs for the second half of 2025, it has to be these two brothers, because the Knockout Brothers made their debut at the G1 Climax Finals, being introduced by David Finlay as the newest member of the Bullet Club War Dogs, and they just basically took the tag team division by storm. They would win their first matchup, defeating Tomohiro Ishii and Tai Chi to win the IWGP World Tag Team Championships at Destruction. They went on to put on an absolute banger in that matchup, put on an even better performance in a fantastic match against Shota Umino and Yuya Uemura at final homecoming. And then they were amazing in the World Tag League, one of the real highlights of World Tag League, with them finally meeting some adversity, losing their first matchup in New Japan as a tag team, also losing out in the block form to Gabe Kid and Yota Tsuji, not even making it to the semifinals. But they are just brought this energy to the tag team division that just hasn't been here in, I would say, like 5-6 years. They just feel very popular. And Yuto Ice, most notably, he just has charisma out the wazoo that we never saw from him as a young lion. It's just amazing how much charisma that he's grown into himself and the character that he's developed as Yuto Ice. And then Oscar Lobe, he just looks like a freaking Undertaker at 21 years old clone. He looks like he has all the look and aesthetics. He's tall, got the long hair, got a nice look to him. He's powerful in the ring, got that great big boot. These guys, I think, are top 3 tier material.
I was fighting between Lion Mark and All-Star, right? Mm-hmm. I'm leaning more towards All-Star because they did come back later in the year. So that's really what puts me in that regard for them. Outside of that, I think I'm agreeing with you. They have brought an energy to the tag team division that hasn't been there in quite some time. Props to them. They did great in their excursions, both in the UK and in Germany. So they've been doing good work outside of New Japan. I have a question for you, and jokes aside, and or jokes included, or whatever way you want to take it. How do you think the Knockout Brothers would work stateside?
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I think that would be interesting to see if you put them in a place like an AEW. I think they would work like gangbusters. Imagine the Knockout Brothers versus Brodito. That's like a match made in heaven. Knockout Brothers tossing around jet speed. That's a match made in heaven. Knockout Brothers doing an old school tag team matchup against FTR. I think that would be great as well. I think though, if you're asking, can they be as over in the US as they are in Japan? No.
Probably not, right?
No, they are the hottest stars in New Japan right now. That's why I was going to ask you if you have a problem with me putting them at the top of All Star, because I feel like they deserve.
No, I don't have issue with that at all. Yeah,
they're the hottest act in New Japan, so I don't know if they're able to get as hot, because I think that the connection that they have is from those fans that seen them as young lions, and then for them to come back and be completely different. And it's been a couple of years since we had that. We had that with Kamatishi leaving and then coming back Hiromu Takahashi. We had that with Jay White with only half the bang, and then he comes back as Switchblade. Like, we've had that in the past, but it's been those two were back in 2017. Yeah. It's been like 8 years since we had this dramatic of an excursion, and then they come back completely different people.
Yeah, man. Yeah, and it's obviously it's been a net positive for them as individuals, as a team as well, and then for New Japan. So, got to give credit where credit is due for those two guys. I had no faith in Nakajima. I had none when he went on excursion.
I literally called them the worst young lion I've seen in quite some time.
So at the end of the day, for him to turn it around the way that he did, and like you said, show off this level of charisma, even though I have my issues with the gimmick at the end of the day, but it is what it is. So it works. Yeah, it works.
All right, then we have two individuals that play similar roles, but one is more part-time than the other. We got Rocky Romero, who has become more of a part-time star as far as being used in New Japan and part of the management, especially with New Japan cutting down on USA shows, as he has taken on a similar role behind the scenes in AEW. Mm-hmm. But he was very much featured in the early half of the year, where Rocky Romero kind of became the Don Callis replacement for Takeshita in his title matches as never openweight champion. He would mix it up and be his tag team partner in different tag team matches, whether it was in the G1 Climax or New Japan Cup and stuff like that. So Rocky, Nick is not really here. So
I mean,
or mid.
We're talking New Japan, right? Because Rocky's another one who's like triple contracted at the end of the day. He's part of the backstage team at New Japan. He's part of the backstage team in AEW. I believe he also helps book CMLL shows on the weekends. So it's like the dude's everywhere, behind the scenes, that is. But from an in-ring standpoint, you're absolutely right. He is part-time now, even though he is on my TV screen every week on Dynamite as part of the Don Callis family. So you got to give him that. I say mid for Rocky, because he's still relevant, right? Because he's appeared in a lot of different places, so he wrestling wise and whatnot. So I say Rocky's mid at the end of the day.
Another mid candidate, Ryusuke Taguchi. Any protest?
Oh man, he's at the tail end of his career. He's still doing all the butt stuff. I can't call out any relevant and or matches of note this year that he had.
He's
So
a part
at
of the
tail-
tournaments.
Yeah,
That's all I know.
at the tail end of mid makes sense. Yeah.
Well, he still can deliver sometimes. He had a strong showing in the Best of Super Juniors from what I remember, especially his main event matchup with Ishimori, which was memorable. So he can show out on occasion, but very much
Dude,
mid.
I'll see, and this is how wacky age and time is. I'll see clips of him when he used to team with Devitt, and I'm like, where is that Taguchi? You know what I'm saying?
Apollo 55.
Exactly. And I was like, yo, where is that Taguchi? Like, what happened to that guy? You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, it's yeah. He's where he's at on the roster right now.
All right, so let's go next with Taichi. Taichi had a very interesting year. So he started off the year as the main member of Just Four Guys before he basically was a part of the coming together of all the babyface factions where they came together. Yuya Uemura, Taichi, and Takumi Shinoku came together with Hontai to join that group and defunct Just Four Guys after several different departures from that group, including Narita and Sonata as they went to House of Torture. He had the good start to the year where he had a strong showing in the New Japan Cup, making it all the way to the semifinals with his fantastic matchup against Zack Sabre Jr. Finally, the Dangerous Techers went at it with one another. He then followed up that run in the New Japan Cup by winning the IWGP Tag Team Championships with Tomohiro Ishii. We finally, after last year, him being one of the probably the biggest snub from the G1 Climax tournament through injury and Street Fighter filming, Hirooki Goto was pulled from the G1 Climax tournament, and Taichi was the big benefactor of that as he joined the A block of the G1 Climax and became one of the highlights of the A block. Had great matches with Yota Tsuji and Roye Uyawa and Hiroshi Tanahashi along the way. So strong showing in the G1. And then following the G1, he would lose the tag team titles with Tomohiro Ishii to the Knockout Brothers in an absolute banger at Destruction. He was a part of World Tag League where he teamed with Satoshi Kojima and really showed respect to one of his mentors in the business. So Taichi, where we put him?
I'm still waiting for that one-on-one matchup between Taichi and Zack Sabre Jr. And it better be for some piece of gold. Gato, you son of a bitch. You didn't give it to us this year, and I'm mad at that. So there's that. Taichi, man. Mid card for Taichi. Mid card for Taichi. Yeah,
I was gonna say all-star for Taichi because I feel like yeah, his push is mid-card, but he has performed above his push the entire year. He showed out every single time. Like his run in the New Japan Cup, his run in the G1, him making the G1, the tag team title reign. I think he fits in more of line with Callum Newman, Adrilla Maloney, El Phantasmo, a Shingo than he does anybody in mid card.
That's because that's a good point. That's an excellent point. Yeah, All-Star works for Taichi, the lone remaining member of just whatever guys at this point. So
definitely there.
Then we got, the man that made it to our thumbnail for this tier list, the reigning, defending IWGP World Heavyweight Champion Konosuke Takeshita, who started off the year at Wrestle Kingdom winning his first title in New Japan Pro Wrestling, the Never Openweight Championship, defeating Shingo Takagi in a title versus title matchup. He then would go on to retain the Never Openweight Championship in an absolute banger against Tomohiro Ishii at Wrestle Dynasty. He had a great match against Boltin Oleg at the New Beginning in Osaka. Then he entered the New Japan Cup. He had that series of matches with El Phantasmo along the way where they went to a time limit draw for the TV title. Then he beat him at Resurgence for the Never Openweight Championship. And then El Phantasmo finally scored a victory over Takeshita in the G1 Climax. Of course, he was Never Openweight champion until he lost the title to Bolton Oleg in another great matchup at Dominion. From there, he set the record for the most defenses as never openweight champion during that reign as well. So really established himself as someone who was a threat to win the G1 Climax, especially losing the title right before the tournament. And he made it all the way to the finals with incredible matches along the way with David Finlay, 2 with Zack Sabre Jr. He had that banger with Shingo Takagi as well, and then made it to the finals and gave us the best evil match in I don't know how long in the G1 Climax final, as he won the tournament, became the face AEW contracted star to win a G1 Climax tournament, and then parlayed that to win the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship in an absolute match of the year candidate against Zack Sabre Jr. at King of Pro Wrestling, winning the gold, holding the title, and then put on another banger to close out the year at Final Homecoming against Hirooki Goto before being challenged by Yota Tsuji for Wrestle Kingdom, where he will be in a title versus title clash with a man that he's put on 2 bangers last year with in the G1 Climax. So Takeshita, he's easily top 2 tiers, right?
I mean, he's the top tier. He is the alpha at the end of the day. So yeah, man, I don't look. I could get like this. This is when pro wrestling talk gets a little bit difficult with the general pro wrestling fan base. I understand he doesn't cut promos. I understand he doesn't have a gimmick, but he is pound for pound probably one of the best performers that there is in all of professional wrestling. That within itself, and being able to have a banger match with whoever just allows him to be at the top of this entire thing, man. So I gotta give him Tokyo Dome headline. I mean, he is a Tokyo Dome headliner at the end of the day. So big shout outs to Big Soups Takeshita for doing what he's got to do. And there's gonna be even more evolution of Takeshita on stateside with an AEW. You just wait and see. You just wait and see.
I think so. I think you're right there as well. All right. Then we got Templario, who nigga wasn't here mostly.
He's not there, man. Templario's not there. I love Templario, man. I really, really do. But he ain't there.
Then we got Tiger Mask, who announced this year that he will be retiring in 2026, but he's another nigga who wasn't there.
Very true. He wasn't there for the majority of the year. So I'd put him in not there as well. These next three. Then we got these next 3.
Yeah, they are. I didn't even try to put them together, but they're just perfectly already together, where they're very comparable. These 3 guys. First, you got Yuya Uemura, who he was injured at the beginning of the year, and then he came back in April to challenge Yota Tsuji at Dontaku for the IWGP Global Heavyweight Championship. Great match there. One of my favorite of Tsuji's first reign as Global Heavyweight Champion. Came up short there. Then he would get into the rivalry with Sonata. He beat Sonata, I believe, at Dominion. He would then face him in the G1 Climax. He had a strong showing in the G1 Climax once again. One of my favorite New Japan matches of the year was Yuya Uemura versus Roye Uyawa in Kurgan Hall in the G1 Climax. That was one of my absolute favorites of the year. And Yuya was always delivering, no matter who the opponent was, whether it was Yota Tsuji in the G1 Climax, where he picked up a huge victory against Hiroshi Tanahashi in this year's G1 as well. And then he parlayed all of that to form this tag team, this kindred spirit tag team with Shoto Umino, which they really became one of the highlights of the tag team division towards the latter half of the year, with that great match that they had with the Knockout Brothers at final Homecoming, and then parlayed that into a strong showing in World Tag League, where they had exceptional matches against TMDK among other teams. So Shoto Umino, and we'll get to him next, but Yuya Uemura, where are we placing him?
I think while you were talking, I had it in my head. I was like calculating in my head. I feel like all three of them are going to end up in different categories.
Yes.
For me, Yuya is an all-star. Because of his work, because how he turned things around after injury, he's stepped up. At the end of the day, he is a fan favorite. People don't look down upon him, right? He's not that he's ready, but he's in that sphere of he might be the guy after Tanahashi. He might fill that role, right? Not from an ace standpoint, but like the main baby face of the company, and going forward from there at the end of the day. So that's why I'll give you a more of the all-star nod this year in 2025. He stepped up quite a bit, man, and I expect he's like one of my freaking New Japan kids at the end of the day. I'm expecting big things out of him, and one day I'm putting this out into the universe because I have to. One day I will go to Japan and I will sit there and I will watch a New Japan show in person. And I'll be the lone American dipshit, probably yelling and screaming for all my young boys at the end of the day. So it is what it is. But Yu more deserves to be in the all-star category there.
Then we got his tag team partner, Shota Umino, which we covered a lot of what he was able to do the second half of the year with Yuya Uemura, but he had one of the weirdest up and down first month or 8 months of a year that you will ever see in New Japan, where he was in the Tokyo Dome main event at Wrestle Kingdom against Zack Sabre Jr., 40-minute matchup that is very polarizing in its reactions and thoughts. Seems like a majority of the fans did not like it, but right. Dave Meltzer gave it 4.25 stars, and Sanal tells us everybody in the build. Huh?
Yeah, I thought it was a good match, to be honest. I thought it was a good match.
I didn't think it was great. I thought it was three. I think I gave it like 3.5 stars, but like it was a disappointment for me, I will say, because I expect more from the Tokyo Dome main event. But that really became like this huge dark cloud over his head that he did not really deliver, and everybody wasn't universally pleased with that main event. So that became a dark cloud over his head, which led to him losing to the Great Okan at the New Beginning of Osaka, which he shaved his head after the matchup and basically started his second chapter, which led to him making it all the way to the finals of the New Japan Cup, coming up short against David Finlay there. He would find himself kind of lost in the shuffle for a bit until the G1. The G1 was really a turning point for Shota Umino, where he was able to kind of recover and bring back some momentum through a series of strong performances, most notably the much better rematch with Zack Sabre Jr. in the G1 climax. Like that's 4.25. Now that was 4.25 stars, Dave Meltzer, not the match at Tokyo Dome. The match in the G1 was 4.25. That's why you need to, I think Dave needs to get abreast of the reaction from the fans a little bit before he starts rating matches. But Shota Umino, he was able to recover in the G1, and like we said, the second half of the year was more or less about his partnership with Yuya Uemura. So where are we putting Shota?
Mid-card, man. Mid-card.
I would say top of mid-card.
Yeah. Shooter goes to the top of mid-card. I still got love for Shooter, man.
Honestly, I can make a case for deserve better as well, because he deserved better in that he should have turned heel right after the Tokyo Dome.
Yeah, they never did it though. They never did it.
They had all this heat on the guy, and they never transitioned him to be a heel to get the heat legitimately. And I feel like that's a case for deserve better.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, I think he's mid-card because he's been able to pull himself out of the doldrums this year. Like with that black cloud of how the year started, and him being able to, do the reset, as you said. It's Shooter Umino 2.0 at this point. He basically, without even putting the black trunks back on, he made himself a young boy, stuff like that. So there's that with that, and now he's with Yuya, and hopefully they capitalize on them as a tag team going forward, and we'll see how it all works out. But I think the mid card, he deserves that because he wasn't an all-star because of how rocky his year was at the end of the day. But to be at the front of the mid card, I think is suitable for him. But we've got one of my favorite guys coming up here, and got to be honest about his year. We got to be honest about his year.
So let's get that out the way. Where you put Master Wato?
I can't say he deserved better because he was out with injury the majority of the year. After he came back, I feel like he's done absolutely nothing. Which is
I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that. He had the really good matchup with El Desperado, and then he forms the tag team with Yo, where they win the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Championships. He had a pretty decent showing in the Best of Super Juniors, not like noteworthy or blowaway or anything like that.
That's why I'm so down on him. His showing at the Best of Super Juniors, because he already won the juniors, and for him to not have a strong showing at juniors this year, to me was like, what's going on? You know what I'm saying?
But let's be real, though. I think this is more of a microcosm of this year's Best of Super Juniors more than it is Master Wato's performance, because I can probably count on one hand the people who had strong performances in this year's Best of Super Juniors.
That's a good point. Yeah, man. I mean, he's to me, for the year that he's had, even though he's still currently a never openweight 6-man tag champ, right? He did have that his tag team with Yo. They were IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Champions for a bit there. Deserve better, I think, is a good place to put him. From the time that he came back, especially the way that the way they constructed and built out the Best of Super Juniors, and what they've done with the junior division in general, both tags and singles. I think it's fair to say that Wato deserved better this year, with where they built him up to, and now where he's at, really. So that's a good place to put him.
Seems legit to me as well. Then we got Toru Yano, Master Wato's co-owner of the Never Openweight 6-man tag team champions, and of course his tag team partner as well. Yo is right next to him. Like we said, Yo's year was mostly about the tag team with Master Wato and the 6-man with Toru Yano, but he did have a pretty decent showing in the Super Junior, the Best of Super Juniors tournament, and even made it all the way to the finals of the Best of Super Juniors tournament, where he put on one of the very best matches of the year, top 5 match for New Japan in the final against Kosei Fujita. He then had another fabulous performance against El Desperado for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship later on in the year at Kurgan Hall as well. But like I said, it's mostly been junior and trios action from him, and Toru Yano's year has basically just been trios action and random tag team matches. I don't even remember any notable feuds or matches Toru Yano had this year. I am sorry.
So Toru Yano deserves to be mid because he's still just there at the end of the day. Toru Yano serves his role, so that's where the mid comes into play. I think Yo should join Wato in deserved better. After the performances that Yo has put on this year, and let's be fair, I didn't know that Yo was as old as he is. So to be doing it at 37 now, I think he is,
and still look like you're 27.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's insane. But those standout performances he had this year gave me a positive lift, and it's like, hey, let's give this guy a shot here in the next calendar year in the next couple of years, should I say, before he gets over the hill. You know what I'm saying? Because he's more close to 40 than he is to 30 at this point. So I feel like Yo deserved better. A lot of the juniors deserved better this year.
I was gonna mention that. Yeah. It is very notable that the vast majority deserve better is the junior heavyweight division.
A lot of the juniors deserve better.
And former junior Alex Zane.
Exactly. So there's that of it. Yo's super entertaining. He's unique. He's he's a character. Yo is a character.
He's a eccentric
Yeah,
personality that
that's
come out
the
more
word.
and
He's an
more
eccentric
the
dude.
last
Absolutely.
couple of years.
Yeah. For sure.
Then we got Yoshihashi,
I don't know
which
what for Yoshihashi this year.
yeah, he's had like a weird year, I would say, because he is the usual tag team partner of Hirooki Goto, but
Right.
Hirooki Goto was more focused on the IWGP World Heavyweight Champion scene for the majority of the year. So Yoshihashi was kind of passed by the wayside. I know he got injured. I think he was out
At
for
one
a
point.
couple of months at
Yeah.
one point, and then he would come back in the summertime. He was a part of the G1 Climax tournament, winning the tournament to get qualified into the tourney. And I thought he had a good performances, especially his last match with Zack Sabre Jr., where he really showed that desperation, had the key victory over Shingo Takagi, beat him in 5 minutes in the G1 as well. And then Bishamon were one of the highlights of the World Tag League when they did reunite and come back together. But it's a very kind of, I would say, mid or deserves better.
Yeah, mid-year. Yeah. I wouldn't put him any lower than mid just because he always outperforms expectations.
Yeah, that's why I'm going to say deserves better, honestly, because if Goto is getting pushed up here, we can at least get him up to mid card, but he didn't even get that.
He didn't get that. Yeah, deserves better is a good shot. Yeah.
And then we got the big three, the final three here. We got the winners of the World Tag League Tournament, Roye Uyawa and Zack Sabre Jr., TMDK. Roye Uyawa really has basically become entrenched in the main roster for New Japan Pro Wrestling throughout the year. He was a part of the G1 Climax tournament and the Best of the New Japan Cup, and then would win World Tag League by the end of the year. Zack Sabre Jr., of course, came into this year IWGP World Heavyweight Champion, would lose the matchup in a Match of the Year candidate with Hirooki Goto, but he would eventually win back the gold by the end of the summer in July when he won back the title at the Tanahashi special. He went into the G1, had probably, I would say he was the MVP of this year's G1. When you think about the match with ELP, the match with Yoshihashi, the two classics with Konosuke Takeshita, and then followed that up with a third Match of the Year candidate with Konosuke Takeshita dropping the world title, and he closed out the year winning the World Tag League tournament. Zach, easily a top 2-tier person. But Roye Uyawa, that's more of a guess. So where you put Roy at?
I'm putting Roy in deserve better. Roy didn't get at the beginning of the year. Roy didn't get much of a shot to do much. And then when the tournaments came around, I felt like he should have one, performed better, but two, had better performed better in the sense of had better showings. Especially I think around New Japan Cup time, I was like, I don't remember much of what Roy was doing at that time, if he was in the tournament or not, and that's not a good thing, right? So there's that of it. He's one of the guys of the younger generation who deserves to be thrust to the forefront, and I believe his work in the World Tag League shows you that, right? He stepped up big time. I mentioned this to you and to everybody else when we were doing the review for World Tag League. If Roy is going to continue to perform at this level, then this is where he needs to be, where the rest of where Tsuji's at and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So if deserves better is a good place for Roy. As for Zach's at the top of the leaderboard here, because Zack Sabre Jr., the techers, the performances, his ability to sell, his ability to tell stories in the ring, his promos are hilarious at that time. It makes me laugh quite a bit, and he is the front man of his band of TMDK, and he leads those guys without he's not some sort of a dictator there, man. He leads those young boys well. He teaches them a lot. You can see it in their in-ring performances, both Fujita and Big Roy, and he handles that position well, and I think he handled himself well as IWGP World Heavyweight Champion as well. I thought that was a well-deserved position for him to be in when he first got the championship. So and then he got the championship again because of Goto having to go where he went, shooting movies and shit or whatever. But Zack Sabre Jr. hasn't let down, and he deserves to be a Tokyo Dome headliner because he's one of the only guys who has stayed in the last decade with New Japan Pro Wrestling. So Zack Sabre Jr. definitely deserves to be at the top of the mountain. Last but not least, SP3?
Indeed, we saved the best for last. Hiroshi, Tanahashi, where are we putting them?
Oh man, not for nothing. Tana's still the face of New Japan Pro Wrestling.
That's why I would say he was the focus of this whole year, so he has to be in the top tier.
Yeah, he's in the top tier. And this is the harshness of what I'm about to say. He's not in the top tier because of his in-ring performances, right?
No.
This is an entire career's body of work thing for me. Hiroshi Tanahashi, one of the best to ever do it. I have him because I followed the majority of his career. I have a lot of affinity, love, affection for Tanahashi. It's been tough for me to watch him in recent years because of how he's moving. I've mentioned that countless times. But based on the tier list of New Japan Pro Wrestling, you can't put him anywhere else outside of the top tier because he still carries the promotion. He's still the face of the promotion. He's the president of the promotion. You know what I'm saying? And in order for the younger guys to get over, they need the Tana rub. You know what I'm saying? That's that. If that's not top tier, you know what I'm saying? I don't know what is. And that's my reasoning for putting him in the top tier. So yeah, that's that.
And out of our two legends who went on retirement tours this year, he won out. He had the better retirement tour because started the year with the great matchup against Evil at Wrestle Kingdom, then had that impromptu 5-minute matchup with Katsuyori Shibata at Wrestle Dynasty. He was a part of big matches like against Takeshita in Chicago back in April. He was a part of the New Japan Cup before being eliminated from that. He had that great run in the G1 Climax where he won his 100th win in the tournament against Tsuji, had standout performances against David Finlay and Roya Uiwa and Yuya Uemura along the way. He just was the highlight. Like the retirement tour, it felt like we were really saying goodbye, and he had great matches as well. Like I said, the Takeshita match, the Gabe Kid match for the Global Heavyweight Championship, the Tsuji match for the Global Heavyweight Championship, Hirooki Goto for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. He's still able to deliver in main event. He was the focal point of this year with this retirement tour. Tanahashi has to be in Tokyo Dome headliners. However, I think we need to adjust some things because we got way too crowded in our Tokyo Dome headliners. So I will take what you said earlier into account, and I think we got to bump Despy down to Lion Mark Pride.
Makes sense. I'm with that.
We'll take that into account. We'll put him at the top of Lion Mark Pride, and actually, I think that Knockout Brothers belong in Lion Mark Pride as well.
Recency bias being what it is. I'll give you that. Yeah, I'll give you that. I don't have an issue with that.
All right. So who are we putting at the tippy top of our top tier?
Ooh. Damn. I mean, with the year that he's had, retirement tour and all, and he is also the main event. He's the headliner for Wrestle Kingdom. It's got to be Tana, to be quite honest.
I put Takeshita ahead of Tsuji.
Sure,
I think I put Tsuji at the bottom.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that seems about right.
Lion Mark Pride, I think Despy should be at the top.
Yep.
And I think the order is pretty much fine.
Pretty much.
I would probably make the argument Fujita should be below Knockout
end?
Brothers, but yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah. Yeah, that works.
Then All Stars, out of these guys, I would say Shingo should be at the top, or Uemura.
I would slide Shingo to the front and Uemura ahead of Callum. And then I think that's fair.
Yeah. Mid card, I think mid card looks all right.
Yeah.
The deserves better. We got to move Roy up for sure.
Up. Yeah.
After winning the tournament, he's got to be up. And then everything else seems all right.
If I'm being truthful here, with deserve better, I'd probably put Wato and Yo ahead of Clark.
Okay.
Yeah. And then everything else seems fitting.
And then we don't really have to worry about mid. Yeah, that's good to go. But you see the mid, the niggas not always hurt or not here, and contract not renewed. And that is our tier list for 2025 New Japan Pro Wrestling roster. What do you think, J-News? Your first time doing a tier list?
It's my first time doing a tier list. Usually, I'm involved in this via the baseball realm. When it comes to positions and things of that nature, anywhere from S to A to B to D, whatever we break it down to. So, and it's a lot longer, right? When it comes to baseball and stuff like that. So, with this, it's interesting to see it all kind of break down. I'm interested to see as to what the 2026 New Japan roster is going to look like going forward after hopefully some of the young lions get their excursions. One, because there's no one currently on excursion from what I can put my finger on. So no one's going to be returning next year, outside of maybe maybe some new faces or whatever the case is and things of that nature, or AEW contracted talent. Yeah, we'll see how next year goes, but this seems pretty set in how the roster breaks down. Speedy recovery to Big Tom at the end of the day, because New Japan is not New Japan without Big Tom in the last decade and stuff. So there's that about it. And all these guys in the mid card, right? I'm not too worried about the young lions, but the rest of these guys, I don't know what to do with y'all, man. I don't know what to do with y'all, man.
There you have it. But yes, this was fun doing this with you for the first time. So thank you guys for joining us. We're going to post this on our social media when we drop this video. So be on the lookout for that as well. But J-News, let the people know where they can follow you on social media and when they'll see you again.
You guys can follow me on the Twitter machine at JohnLYFNMG. Follow me on Instagram _JONJY. You can watch me every Sunday, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Hit the Ropes podcast with the lovely Dolores. Check us out on our respective YouTube channels to watch that particular podcast. I should be back this month, probably within the next week or two, to do the preview for World's End. AEW World's End. We'll be previewing Wrestle Kingdom as to when that comes up. And I don't think there's anything else that I'll be doing this month in regards to the podcasting realm and stuff like that. So stay tuned, folks. If anything, I'll get with SP3 because me and Johnny Boy, we're going to be going to the Manhattan Center shows this weekend. So if you need some on the field reporting, we can set that up. But outside of that, we'll it's been an interesting 2025 to say the least. So appreciate everybody watching as always. Like, subscribe, do all that fancy shit on YouTube. You know how it goes. And that's that.
Yeah. Yes. Follow me on the Twitter machine at TrueHillSB3. Follow the game, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok at TrueHillHeat. Check out our last New Japan Pro Wrestling review for the World Tag League 2025 final. And of course, like we said earlier, check out our AEW tier list for 2025 with me and Jimmy Macaram. For J-News, it is me, your True Hill Phenom, SP3. This has been our NJPW Roster 2025 tier list. We are signing off until next time. Later, y'all.